Bachae is a play which is erotic, political, and philosophical play. This play has been premiered in 405 BC at Athens, Greece, and how Dionysus is coming from Middle East and Asia to the Greece in the beginning of the play.
We're learning how to physically transform and transition our bodies into different characters. It's a very collaborative performance because we're doing chorus work, which is very challenging but exciting at the same time. Our director sends us like reference texts on cults, performances and rituals and how they've existed like so long in society to build like a community which is based on connection. And I think the idea of female worshippers is extremely powerful because women can carve out this space for themselves where they're free of obligations, expectations, and they can have agency over themselves.
So when I talk about Bachae, it feels like the play belongs to me because from the very first rehearsal, we have created this from scratch, from being physically present into this space and devising the play on our own.
Shantanu introduced me to this play, so he briefed me that this will be mostly a physical performance. We have to use our bodies. So I was that bit really excited me, and he told me that we will also be including different art forms from different cities of India.
And the director was very much not as a director but more like a helper to us. He would just guide us like these are the things that we should focus on, and the points where we disagreed, there were good discussions about it, and very fruitful things came out of it.
Extreme emotions of a human being are quite saddening to witness, which after reading this text I got to know.
We were discussing about the casting that day, selecting characters. That day we made good discussion why female performer can't do male character. After that discussion, our director decided to do ensemble theatre production and using our body and how we are performing, and especially almost kind of non-verbal and how we can do it with using physically.
We are adapting the original play into a concept where we are creating this god, the Dionysus, as an idea which liberates the soul, the inner soul towards the moksha.
Sweet and easy task. Sweet and easy task.
The play context where there are Bachic women and their ritual, their practices. So the question comes that why it was only women who were worshipping Dionysus when Dionysus comes to the Athens and trying to create his own existence as a god.
That the play talks about liberation in many ways, and for example, there is a whole section which talks about the liberation of women, which talks about breaking the fundamental structure of the society. It would be very difficult to understand who is the protagonist, and I seem to like that grey zone with each of the characters.
We have been trying to exploring the common physicality amongst us because our main focus of the performance would be the chorus. So chorus is going to perform all over the play, and they are going to be existing on stage and they would be creating all the scenes and the narration. So it would be a visual narration in a way.
Because of that, like every session is very different from each other because what we learn, where we learn from is constantly changing. But nevertheless, every time I leave a rehearsal, I always feel like I feel the pain in my body for a couple of days.
Like an individual, we have a group of 7 to 10 people and we are trying to become one entity to describe a story.
What part I like the most is the discussions that happen, because while discussing those things, we as a team, we grow even more stronger,
we make a better understanding of the text and the implementation of it on the stage, and that not only helps you as a performer but as an artist as well. It expands your horizon of thinking.
I feel that there is Dionysus and Pentheus in all of us. So when I was reading it for the first time, I related myself to Pentheus more, because how he gets easily angry and his ego he can be played with. His ego can be, he's very volatile and he's very vulnerable in sort of his anger and all.
I can see Dionysus in myself. I can see Agave in myself. I can see Pentheus in myself. Like, all of us holds some bits of all of these characters, and that's very interesting.
And also we are trying to adapt from the South Asian, mostly from Indian art forms into our physicality, and we are also trying to create kind of a form which should have a language of a non-linear interpretation towards the audience. Very excited to have the group of actors and the team we have, those who are very young and they have a lot of motivation and commitment towards working on something new. Whatever the art forms we are going to adapt and creating on this in the space, it is becoming new and it is very original. While creating the process and the writing part of it, we are adapting the whole play and we are rewriting the performance as a performance text. So while doing that, the music is also getting emerged from the process itself. So we are trying to create live music, obviously, but also we are trying to work on, now we are researching on that, how the idea of Dionysus or the idea of Bachic woman or the idea of the singers in the chorus. So what kind of music instrument or what kind of note or tune or melody or rhythm would be complementing towards the concept. This is a search for us to find how we are denoting the idea of God, which comes as a wisdom to the individual, which can take you to your liberation and to your ultimate goal as an individual.